Hey everybody, this is the formative assessment review for week 3, part 2 of Dr. Daniker's EDFN 530 fall 2017 class. For those that don't know me, my name is Steven. I'm working on this project with Nate, and we were tasked with reviewing the Schoology website. I kind of made a PDF document of the different highlights of Schoology, what it does, what it offers. I'm kind of going to breeze through a little bit, kind of hit the high points with it, and if anybody would like the document itself to kind of look a little bit more in depth, I'd be really happy to provide that for you. So, what is Schoology? Schoology is pretty much a learning management system. The best way to kind of describe it is it's like a Facebook for education. You're able to access your different courses for the classes that you have. You're able to message your students. It's great because it's all online, so students can access it in class, out of class, and even on their mobile devices, which is a big selling point for a lot of the kids in terms of checking their grades, submitting assignments, and whatnot. I'm placed at LS High School, and we use this program in a limited capacity. We don't quite use all the different features that it has to offer, only because they have other systems in place, such as like the grade book that they use, and they do lesson planning their own way. But you're able to build the kind of lesson plans and able to connect them with different groups within your classes there, or even with different teachers from different schools. It also fosters communication and collaboration. You're able to set limits and kind of brackets in terms of what students are able to do with other students on the website. You can make sure that each one contributes equally to a project, or kind of see the amount of time that both contribute to a project. So it's a great way to keep track of kind of who's contributing what. As I mentioned before, it's also offered as a mobile app. Kind of gives kids grades on the go, where they take a test and they're asking if they have the grades up yet, and then you say yes, and everyone's busting out their phones to check their grades right away. So they do enjoy that portion of it. There's data analytics and personalized learning. Kind of like I said, instant feedbacks, where you can set a quiz up on Schoology itself where they have multiple choice. And once they hit submit, it's kind of automatically graded. Their grades are posted up, and it's kind of hands-off grading and, like I said, instant feedback in that sense. You are able to use other pre-connected apps with it, such as Google Docs, YouTube, Turnitin. As I had mentioned, that's not quite something that we use it with, so I can't speak too much of that, but you're able to link it in. I know we use Google Docs a little bit, and they work seamlessly in terms of putting links in there and having students submit documents via Google Docs that connects right to their Schoology, so that's neat in that sense. Another cool feature with Schoology is that you're able to manage the same course but for different sections all in one. So I know we have 2 basic biology courses, and we can make a single edit to one of our courses that will be reflected in both of those courses. So you're not having to make the same adjustment to different sections, so it's nice in that sense. You can also reuse folders from the previous year, so if you go through your lesson plans or your curriculum and you get a very good flow to things and things work very well throughout the year, you're able to kind of recycle that entire course into a new year and just make small adjustments along the way if you need to, but the majority and the bulk of what you've already done will roll over. At this point, I'm going to kind of walk you through what Schoology looks like. I know there are a few schools in the area that do work with Schoology, so this looks familiar to some of you. For others, it may not. We use it as an enterprise system, so if your school does not offer Schoology, but this is a tool that you think would be useful for your classroom, there is the ability to buy as a single standalone account at a cost, obviously, but if you do find that tool that you think would be efficient in running your classroom, it would be worth it. So as I mentioned before, you can manage your different courses. So for example, I'm in charge of the 2 different biology sections we have for our classroom. So section 1 and section 2. You can see the different ones. There's a anatomy and physiology course we'll be teaching in the spring. That'll show up there when that time does occur. So you can kind of bounce between the different courses at that time. But here you're kind of able to see all the different links and what we have available. My view is going to look a little bit different than what the students have because a lot of the stuff is unpublished. So I can make things visible or invisible at certain times, or where I want them to see and when I want them to see and for how long I want them to see them. But you're able to organize things into different units, different folders. I can set up links. I think there was a quiz here, like meiosis questions, where you're able to click on these, answer them, and then submit that for an instant grade. This one's kind of a fill in the blank, so it won't be quite instantaneous. We'd have to go through that, but nonetheless, it keeps everything consolidated to a single website. You're able to look at analytics too in terms of the grades that the students do submit. So I can go through and look at individual users, see the answers that they're answering for individual questions, or I can look at an assignment as a whole and kind of see how many times they viewed it, when they're looking at it, the grades they're getting, obviously, and kind of use those metrics to kind of determine what they may or may not be getting, and use that to construct your curriculum going forward. Lastly, this works as a great communication device because you're able to email your entire class and either update them on something you said in class, a correction to a homework, a general announcement, or pretty much anything you need to tell them that you would tell them in class. You can disseminate that information through the messaging feature they have on here. So I hope this is helpful, and good luck.